Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devil Saturday. This is Game Day Live, coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios inside the Mobile Command Center in Schuylkill, Haven, some redneck boonies, Pennsylvania town, and to the highest point of the Garden State. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, Twitch, and now on Instagram Live at Let's Go Devils Podcast on the Let's Go Devils Network as the Devils take on the Los Angeles Kings tonight in Los Angeles. The most highly anticipated matchup. Forget about the World Series. It's all about us. Devils, Kings. How are you, Shorts Guy?
I'm doing good, Sammy. How are you? Are you surviving way out there in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania?
I kicked myself out of a high school playoff football game.
Yeah, as you should, because I know how you get when you get fired up, and it sounded like there was plenty to be fired up about there.
Yeah, it's all rigged. To me, it's all rigged. Rigged.
You think everything's rigged? I get it.
Yeah, actually, this time around, I actually have video evidence.
You do have cause with this one. You do have cause.
Yeah, we won't talk about that, but we will talk about the New Jersey Devils 2-game losing streak, then rewarding Jacob Markstrom with a 2-year extension. That coming over the wire yesterday, about 24 hours ago. We'll talk a little bit about that in a sec. But the Devils looking to bounce back against the Kings. Now, when you look at the Kings, they're just kind of like in the middle of the pack type team, but they're still dangerous. They still have some good players. And when they played I believe the Minnesota Wild the other night, or was it the Detroit Red Wings? I forgot which team. They came back and won. Like they were down 2 goals, and suddenly they pull their goaltender, and boom, they won the game in overtime.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I have not paid much attention to the Kings at all. I've been so focused on our New Jersey Devils that I haven't seen much of the rest of the league. But, any team that can pull your goalie and come back from a 2-goal deficit and then win in overtime has got some balls there. So, credit to them for that. But, it's every team. This is the NHL, so the Devils got to prepare for every game as if every team's, beating them or wanting to beat them. And here's the big downside of the Devils doing so well is now we're a team to beat. Yeah. Everyone wants to beat us. So, you're going to start seeing – your starting goalies, if it's a back-to-back, you're going to start seeing, top pairings against our top guys. We're now a team to beat. We're now a force in this league. So this is what you get.
Yeah, and 8-3, not bad start. The 0-2 to start this road trip is a little depressing after seeing the 8-game heater.
It is.
The Devils have to get back to the defense. I think it all goes back to that. And now, speaking of defense, Jacob Markstrom in goal, getting a 2-year extension. I had to sleep on it last night because on the Woo Report, I was like kind of ticked off. Like, what's the rush? But in the reality, after sleeping on it, you realize this allows Tom Fitzgerald to know what the cost certainty is. Having your 2 goaltenders locked up for just under $8 million combined AAV for the next 3 years, including this season. What are your thoughts on the deal with the 6 AAV 2-year extension?
I think it's a good deal. I think it does a couple things to get it done now. One, you don't have him pushing and demanding to be in goal just to prove that he's got something.
Great point.
Just to prove that he's going to be worth X amount of dollars, which means that we can have more of a 1 and 1A type thing because we've seen the way that Jake the Snake has played. So that right there takes care of it too. That kind of gives him that certainty that he doesn't he's here, he's set in, he's settled in, and he can just focus on winning here in New Jersey. So that's kind of the first thing I like about it too. We've locked him up for $6 million now. And the goalie pool that are free agents coming this summer is so shallow that if we had let him get to free agency and just let him go talk to other teams, we'd be paying a lot more. Because when you look at who's available, Scott Wedgwood's available. He's out there for $1.5 million right now, and at 3 years younger, about 2.5, 3 years younger than Markstrom. But would you trust Scott Wedgwood to be your full out and out starting goaltender? He plays very well, at times, but I don't know if I would go with him as a full starting goaltender. So with that goalie pool so shallow, we're locking him in for what he was essentially making prior to this deal, and I think that that's a great thing. So those are my two big things, and I'm really happy that it was taken care of now. It's settled. We won't have to worry. We won't have to go into the summer with any questions. And now all he can focus and all he has to focus on, him and Jake Allen, all they have to do is focus on stopping the puck. That's about it.
That is great.
Not rushing back from injury.
Great points that you just made. And it's all about strategic planning. Now you know what your cap situation is with your goaltenders for the next 3 years. Now you look at the rest of the roster, how you can improve defensively, what other players that you can bring in. And on top of that, $8 million against the $88 million cap for this season. The cap's going to go up year 2 and year 3 on this, assuming year 1 and 2 on the extension, that's less than 9% of the cap. And I think that's where you get that cost certainty. The only downside is, but then again, any goaltender can get hurt. Even the young goaltenders can get hurt. I mean, we've seen it around the league. It's different now. You don't have the Martin Brodeur type, 78 game seasons.
And the game is different too. So, Brodeur was able to play that amount of games, and the game is different too. It's faster. The guys are much more highly skilled. Not to say that Brodeur, wasn't playing against tough players, but with the way that some of these goalies are playing right now, and having to, stretch out a little bit more, you can say than they used to. It's the likelihood of injury is there. I mean, if you look at it, you've got Sergei Bobrovsky, who's about a year and a half older, something like that, older than Markstrom, making $10 million, which is absurd. And he only really kind of validated that $10 million price tag by winning 2 back-to-back Stanley Cups. So he's a free agent this summer, and then it would be Markstrom would be your next best on that list. So and then you look at other goalies and I'm not saying that Markstrom's in this upper echelon, but you've got Hellebuck is making over 10, I believe. You've got Shesterkin that signed for over 10. So it's like. At that point, we're locking him in, and we're not going to be overpaying, because it would be our luck to overpay for him, and then he is injury riddled for the life of that contract.
And I mentioned this on the Woo Report, and I mentioned this on the Morning Woo as well, that now the Devils can finally allow their young goaltenders to take their time and develop.
Yes.
That this emergency call up, desperation, just to put somebody in the net. Remember, they had that kid Shapiro, the emergency backup goaltender, amongst many goaltenders. I'm hopeful that those days are behind us, because you just can't have that moving forward with this kind of lineup that the Devils have right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think that this puts everyone's mind at ease, and especially him, and he can kind of focus on, those – just stopping the puck, and to win for this team that we all want to win. And I know that there are some downsides to Markstrom. I know that there are soft goals he lets in, and I know sometimes he doesn't start all that hot, but man, when he plays well, he plays well. And it's a tough position. And, you also need to have your team needs to be playing for you right in front of you. I mean, when he came back for that one game, for his first game back, the team decided to not score until they scored 5. So that was a tough one. That really was a tough one. And then Jake Allen had a rough go at it the other night as well. So it's not like, Markstrom lost and then Jake Allen went in and won. Jake Allen didn't play very well either the other night. So you're going to have those games. All goalies have those games. It's just a matter of how you recover from them.
Yeah, well, also just keep in mind that there are people that have different opinions. Like Nick Adams says he's not worth more than $3 million a year. Look, this is a deal that everybody wins. If you think about it, the Devils, they win, they get their cost certainty. Whether he's worth $6 million or not doesn't matter. You got to look at the tandem, says Dubs is like, and also you got to look at it from a standpoint of he didn't get a raise, but he didn't get a demotion, a pay cut either. So it just basically extends it's basically the status quo right now. So
yes,
the status quo right now, and if you're happy what happened last season, even with the injuries to both Allen and Markstrom, take a risk for 2 years. I mean, you got a 2-year out after the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and everyone, is looking for our next goalie, and everyone wants to see Big Mike be that goalie, which I can't remember who said it in the chat, but apparently he had a rough game tonight against Maine, and he was yanked after the first period. So that really kind of sucks to see, but those games happen. It doesn't mean that he's going to be terrible. It means that, hey, you have a bad game, and we've all had them as goalies, and that's kind of what you have to look at it like that. And I'm trying to look for the game recap because I just got some breaking news over my via text message.
Yeah,
via text message from my brother that Nico Dawes got the Utica Comets their first win tonight, apparently. So I'm trying to verify that.
Okay,
but yeah, so apparently Nico Dawes is getting got the Comets their first win, and 3-1 over the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins.
It's Wilkes-Barre.
Let's say whatever. Middle nowhere.
Hey, I'm in Pennsylvania right now. I have to know the names right. Anyway,
Nico Dawes had 25 saves, let in one in a 3-1 win. So good for Nico Dawes. Breaking news. Nico Dawes got a win.
Okay, so let's get our predictions because got to head out here right now.
Yeah, totally.
All right, so let's get everybody's predictions in the YouTube Live. Shorts Guy, why don't you go first?
I will. And for those that put their predictions earlier in the YouTube Live, if you can put them back in there again, please put them back into the chat so we can see them without scrolling back. I think that tonight this has got to be that type of response game like we saw against Tampa Bay. And the Devils really have to come out firing. The Devils have to come out scoring. And this is really where I think Jacob Markstrom needs to come out and play really big tonight. The guy's got big emotions, and he can make the big saves, which he made a couple of them the other night. Prior to the end of the game, even though he wasn't able to get the win. But I think the Devils are going to come out with a win tonight. I think it is going to be close because I'm seeing things that this is a very defensive first Kings team. And, looking at the defensive pairings, Chowalski's coming in for Casey. So Siegs, Hamilton, Dylan Hughes, and Chowalski and Nemec. So I think it's going to be a 4-3 Devils victory tonight.
Oh, okay. Looking at YouTube Live, we got 3-1 Devils, Steve Engel. 5-2 Devils says Atlantic Wave Rider. Please rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast.
Please.
Yeah. Chris Ladd, 5-2 Devils. Max says 3-2 Devils. Corbin says 3-0 Devils with a shutout.
I'll take it.
5-3 Devils says Ted. 4-3 in overtime. Captain game-winning goal. Dubs is like that's actually my prediction. 4-3 in overtime. But I'm going to say that it's going to be Gritsik with the overtime goal. 3-1 Devils.
Ooh.
Markey. Says Michael Hay. 5-3 Kings, says Nick Adams. Boo. I hate the Kings goal horn. It gives me PTSD from Game 6. Yeah. 2-0 Devils, says AJ Visco. The law offices AJ Visco. All right. Well, we just got those predictions. We're going to have Devils After Dark after the game. Folks, sorry, I got a hard out at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So we're going to head out. But thank you, Shorts Guy. I'm going to hit the music.
All right.
Yeah. Well, don't watch that World Series. There's nothing going on there. It's only Game 7 against the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. But See us for Devils After Dark. Scotty's going to be live on location for Devils After Dark. Till next time, let's go Devils.